Hey folks, welcome back to the stream. Getting ready to start off our day with New York Times Daily Puzzles and Games, like we always prefer to. After New York Times Daily Puzzles, we will get right into Slay the Spire, so stick around if that is something you enjoy as well. But for now, let's start off with some Wordle. As always, open with one of our favorite words. It's either going to be stale or trace. So we'll start off with stale this time around. Now try and include an R. Typically with the T, if I don't know this exact location, I'll either try and begin the word or finish the word with it. Point could be a decent option. Get two vowels in there. N is very common. Would prefer to try and substitute the P for an R. Let me think about potential options we could have there. Count gets a C as opposed to the P, but C is definitely a little bit more common. It's probably going to be point. Point or count? No, we'll go. Go with point. Glad he did. Brings the P in. Potentially could end. Let's look at our vowel options. Could potentially see, not using any of the standard kind of vowels, but pulling in Y for a word like crypt. That gets us C and R, two really common consonants. I think we'll try that. Nice. So a lot of common consonants, keeping our average right around 3, but a lot of common consonants and a Y as the only vowel. So moving on to connections. Getting 16 items and trying to establish the common theme or connection between 4 groups of 4. Now looking at these options, it's trying to find just a couple that have an obvious connection. Establish kind of our easiest grouping first, like we always do. I see Helen in there. That gets me thinking about potentially like Mount St. Helen, Helen of Troy, kind of a mythological figure. I guess potentially historical. I'm not entirely sure on the historicity of Helen of Troy, but lead or lead. Lead balloon. Compass, atlas, those would be things for finding directions, or might have an atlas in your car, or back in the day at least. A compass, definitely helpful for navigation. A guide could also potentially. However, I'm seeing on that kind of same vein of leading, actually see lead, shepherd, guide, all kind of similarly like actively helping someone find their way, and direct would be another option that fits in that. Lead, shepherd, guide, direct. Any of these others that I think go with that. So compass and atlas, based on that, I'm inclined to think this clue will not relate to like atlas to help you find directions. Pan, Echo, Atlas, I believe are all characters. I don't know if it's Greek mythology or Roman mythology, but I think Pan is like the god of, I don't know if it's like Dionysus equivalent, but Pan, I think he's a satyr or related to like festivities. Echo, I remember there's a story about Narcissus, I believe is the name. The guy who falls in love with his own reflection. And Echo is someone who like longs after him. And then Atlas, the character who, again, I think it has to do with the underworld in some way, but his punishment is bearing the weight of the world on his shoulder, or something along those lines. Let's look at potentially another one. Toiletries, loofah. Sewing kit. Candle could be like things in a bathroom or under a sink. That pine tree one though. Just trying to compare it to our other clues. Pine tree very specific. I guess smell of a pine tree could be something that could connect to others, but I don't see any other clues, connections that directly relate to a tree in any way, shape, or form. I guess if I were to go with this, are we certain sewing kit would be something in the bathroom? No options. That still leaves us compass, atlas, echo, pan. So that would be turntable, pine tree, Johnson, and Helen. We'll go with this. Okay, one away. I imagine it's sewing kit that does not fit. Like Johnson baby soap or something along those lines. Oh, Johnson is in the starting with synonyms for lavatory. John, Lou, can, toilet. Okay. That was a really interesting one. I guess bathroom related, but in a different way. I was thinking like Johnson and Johnson, like baby shampoo or something. So in this case, I do think it's going to be Atlas. Atlas, Echo, Helen, Pan. Okay, so Greek mythology. That's cool. I must be missing something very obvious. Pine tree. When I think of pine tree, all I can really think of is the smell related to them. Let's see what the clue is. Okay, things with needles. Okay, that makes sense. Just one mistake, but still we're able to solve our connections. Not too much issue. All right. So a little bit more timing related. Moving on to our crossword mini. Trying to get it within a minute. So here we go. Act. Beat 6 down, but not scissors. Try to find. Shout, gotta start getting something done. Which is my command, a genie. It beats scissors. Rock. Paper. Definitely not getting it in a minute. Little rough, some of these clues today. Conjecture out loud. I get the spout. Wouldn't be bad. I don't know that's this. Spam. Me no. Should have known that one. Manic. Opine. Man, hitting a bit of a wall. Anytime I see a clue related to another clue, I do find that can throw me for a bit of a loop. And I think just rushing a little bit without one clue to kind of anchor ourselves, our time did slide a little bit on this puzzle, but get him next time. Average, I think, is still around a minute or maybe even less, so we'll do better next time. Cry in a pool game. Marco Polo. Could be talking about billiards, but I think they're leading us to believe it's something that you actually shout or cry out. Prefix with practice. There you are. Invite initials, RSVP. You'll know this if you watched any previous videos. I don't pride myself on my French, but I believe RSVP, s'il vous plaît. Something about like respond, please. Strong arm, coerce. Bank of New Orleans. Levy? Malpractice. I assume arson. The tiniest amount. One something. Speak gently. Coo, maybe? You coo at a baby? Could be wrong there, but... They might be jam-packed. Could be referring to literal jam, like jam and jelly, or like something to do with crowds, traffic. Nobelist Elie Wiesel, a survivor of the Holocaust, I believe. Something Night, I believe he wrote, detailing his experiences with the Holocaust. Ballet bound. Like a heel? Or feet? Safe at sea. Volleyball team, example given. Stimulate as an appetite. Whet one's appetite is what comes to mind. Let's see. Sudden impulse, whim. I think this probably is wet. Put a strain on. Tickle pink. I'm thinking like Elmo, with it starting with an E. Self-driving cars and spell check are meant to compensate for human error. Ay, Dios mío. Oh my god. Dance with hand gestures that can resemble or represent ocean waves. A hula dance would make a lot of sense. Could still be Elmo's here. It's not out of the kind of theater IMAX. Put a strain on. Taxes or taxed? Connecticut Governor Lamont. Not certain on that one. Steels oneself, girds oneself, like a steel girder, but gird similarly just means to like prepare yourself, or I think literally dress, but prepare. Danny California, vividly remember when that album came out. Word with history or surgery, oral history, oral surgery. Place on the schedule, slot in. Yeah, experimental musician Yoko Ono. Plastic Ono Band with John Lennon. Slot. Just a blank hyphen. It's probably gonna have to come back to that. I don't know if it's just asking for the literal name. Genealogist creation, like a family tree. You might pick one to get gold. One to get gold. Like ore? Like literal? Pick as in like a miner's pick? I could see that. Auction announcement sold. Which would lead me to believe this certainly is ore. Problem for a homeowner or government worker. Purveyors of roast beef and Reubens, delis, plural. Sportage maker, Kia. Government worker could be like an information leak. Homeowner could be an actual home leak. Feel good about that. The genuine article, like real deals, real something. TV regulatory group, I believe that's the FCC. Federal Communications Commission, or something along those lines. Currency of Switzerland. My mind initially went to like krona. Clearly not. If we think it's starting with an F though. Blank dog, food specially topped with meat sauce. Coney dog. Man, as the weather gets colder too, chili, coney dogs, that all sounds freaking amazing. Fluid-filled sack. Could be like a cyst, as gross as that is. One named singer. I want to say like Neo or something. I think that timeline about lines up, but Evers partner. See, I've got potential answers for these. I don't feel super confident about any of them. Feature of a bow tie or bow line. Come back to that. Guess this could be only. Just fill these in for now with our best guess. We can come back to them. We'll go with. Ooh, do I think this could actually be franc? Swiss franc actually potentially sounds correct. Fin beneath the surfboard. Flies off the handle could be like erupts. All right, let's go through, now that we're starting to hit a little bit of a sticking point, and see any easy ones. Multi-volume reference work. Dictionaries, encyclopedias. Biblical boat, ark. Not to be confused with the Ark of the Covenant. Jack, who hosted The Morning Show and The Tonight Show. Is it like Leno? Is J short for Jack? I don't know if he ever hosted a morning show though. Online recap letters, something like TLDR. Auction unit, I think, are often called lots. I wanted to put like drats or something here. Selects from a group. Pulls. Passion could be ardor. I think ardor is another word. Kind of similar to passion. All right, why not? Okay, sure. Of an arm bone. I believe ulna. Ulna is one of your arm bones. It could be ulnar, like your ulnar nerve. I think goes through your elbow into your forearm. Do we think this one ends in U? Major muddle. Seminole School, FSU, Florida State University. Snafu. Gran Canaria, por ejemplo. So, Gran Canary, for example, I think it's an island? Isla? Like most hippos and hyenas. African? Can't think of any examples of non-African. Really, I have to assume one of these is wrong, but NERT, darn. Yeah, we'll see about that one. TV studio sign on air. Back in the day. Okay, so two one-named singers featured on the 2013 hit Play Hard. I can't even think of what that song is, or I just cannot remember for the life of me. Sweetie, Hun. although it could be hun with H-O-N, like honey. Acon? Acon Neo? One iota? Just based on this, I'm going to assume it's a C. Stretch. Stretch something. Draws back as before throwing. So knock. I know you knock an arrow when you draw it back. Lecture series with ideas we're spreading. Is this just like TEDx? TEDx? Ballet bound. Safe at sea. Freeze from. TEDx might be right there. It just doesn't quite fit with what I'm imagining 6 and 9 down will be. Real. Of a bow tie or bow line. And he's the only night show or Tonight Show host I can think of. It does say host, right? Jack, who hosted. Woodworking fastener. It's either a bolt? Yeah, I suppose culls could be top grade group seniors. Really have doubts about nerds. It's possible though. Some of these words I do not always know. So. Come on, Fiera. Let's get out of here. Competitor of Korean Air. Buddy, am I gonna have to get the spray bottle? That's not. Go on. Go on. Safe at sea. Something to do with being at anchor or like, I don't know. Freeze from. I mean, is this how you spell Ely? Wish it. Have they given a clue yet for these like punctuation mark clues? I have not seen anything. This has to be print. So I'm imagining this is feet. They might be jam-packed. Something food related or some sort of like a dessert. Groovy Daddy-O. Oh my gosh. What an awful clue. Tickle pink, so it's got to be like elate. Something that excites you, brings you joy. Do not know the Connecticut governor. Buddy. Yeah, why don't you ever lay down? Yeah. You wanna lay down? Oh, buddy, I'm sorry you got a little bit wet. That's what happens when you get so antsy and start acting like a bad boy. I know. I know, buddy. Come here. Here. Come here, bud. Oh, man. You want to get on my lap here? You can get on my lap. Come here. Come here, buddy. Alright. Vera's going to help us with this game. Alright, let's get back into it. Alright, elate, I feel pretty good about. Put a strain on. Taxed. I think it has to be taxed. So Ned Lamont, I'd imagine. Print something mate. Partner of letters. Could it be like word? Just R-I-S-T. It could be a few different things, but I'm thinking wrist. I mean, no real leads on these interior letters of this words, or this word. Sounds from a stumbler. Something along those lines, like someone who stumbles over their speech. Flies off the handle, melts down, erupts. E-R-U-P-T-S. Jack. I don't think. I'm just gonna put bolts. That could be wrong, but let's see, if it's word, W-O-R, what would be the fastener ending in R? Some sorority letters. Yeah, I don't believe it's bolt. Off to such a promising start on this one, but certainly hitting a little bit of a wall at the moment. I feel pretty good about the O here. So stretch. Gosh, just give me any clue about... Ever's partner. Like ever after, ever and ever. Genuine articles. And it should be like real deal. Genuine article just means it's the real thing. I don't feel as good about Leno, so we'll go with erupts. J Peno. J Pino. Blank, blank, run for it. It's either like make a run for it or made a run for it. Make a run for it. I assume it's air something. Trying to think of like Singaporean or other Malaysia Air, I know is a big one. For a competitor of Korean Air. Japan Air. Sound for a stumbler I don't think is something RI. I do feel good about FCC though, right? Federal Communications Commission? see. Is there another? Answer maybe. I was thinking like smart or something that doesn't fit. I know Coney is correct. I'm fairly certain franc is correct. Swiss franc. Fluid-filled sack. Sounds from a stumbler. I mean, sorority letters, it's gonna be Greek. Again, Etas, ETAS. Gosh, there really is not a one remaining that we have much of a lead on. They might be jam-packed. Fest? Like a music fest? Freeze from jam-packed. I'm thinking like music, like a music fest. I think we're at the point where we will check. Okay, so fest is not right, which would mean feet is not right. Genuine articles, real Mick something? Real McCoys? What? Would make me feel better about erupts here, which is correct. I gotta check nerds. I'm sorry. It is correct. Darn nerds. I'd love to know the origin for that. So is it just TEDx then? It totally is TEDx. Safe at sea. Tried to go through every letter or every consonant I could potentially put in front of this. I just cannot think of it. Might be jam-packed. Is it like PBJs? Is there a certain name for how they bind their feet? There's got to be something along those lines. They might be jam-packed. So word was not the word. Lovely. So it is not air. Woodworking fastener. Not a rebus. Anon. I think that's like Shakespearean language for forever, basically. Not. Should have known that. Rock. I'd say it's like a skim fin. Probably not right here, but fairly certain I checked this one already, but. Ain't it. Freeze from. So it's going to end in S. Or should. No, it doesn't. Oh my gosh. It's one of those rare cases where it tells you, or the clue should have an S based on all the information it's giving us, but it is not. I mean, at this point, let's just see. So this is it Cox. It is Cox. Man, that is a tough one. I mean, for these, I gotta see what the word is. Price estimate. Okay. So quote. This is dash, make a run for it. This is quote, price estimate. Dot, period. Might be jam-packed. Jeté? That has to be the specific way that the ballet dancers bind their feet. Multi-volume reference work. Volleyball team sexted? What? What? I dig? Really? Stretch of time? A period? Oh, a sextet. Oh my god. Sorry, I got the volleyball shorts got my brain all fucked up. Slash rock guitarist. Fresh answer, maybe. Quip. Woodworking fastener. T blank blank T. Oh my goodness. Asia Air? It probably is not right. Tau? I believe Tau is a Greek letter. Fastener. T-nut? I mean, we were struggling so hard with the clues that are related that they don't really usually explain to you what the gimmick is. That we struggled so much, and ultimately we needed something to get us over the top. This section was surprisingly difficult. Jeté, again, I assume French, which I'm never gonna learn. Safe at sea, a word that's hundreds of years old. not one that is in use today. And yeah, some of these others, just difficult. It was tough today. Technically under an hour, but obviously with all the help we got, it would have taken us far longer. But regardless, just trying to increase our overall knowledge, have some fun, puzzle over, the things we do know, learn about the things we don't. So appreciate you guys hanging out while we went ahead and went through our daily puzzles and games. Gonna take a brief break, and I will be back with Slay the Spire coming back at you. So thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out on the channel. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.